Welcome, welcome. Welcome. We'll give people a minute to join. We were talking about a fun podcast for kids.
Yep.
Greeking Out. Is that the one you said?
And that's right, from National Geographic Kids.
Oh,
Love it.
Geo. Love that.
That and Mystery Recipe, which is, they don't make this one anymore. It's from Cooks Illustrated, but it features a character named Mitzi, who's an oven mitt, and they do like a mystery recipe every season, and each week is a different ingredient, and you, at the end, cook it all together. It's adorable.
That's so sweet.
It's really sweet, like very wholesome content happening in our house.
I did something with my boys when they were a little bit younger that I called Food Miss, which I'm sure I stole from something, where I just let them pick whatever they wanted to cook out of my cookbooks. And then they would be in charge of making the grocery list and of going to the grocery store, and I would follow behind them and make them do the shopping themselves, just to like teach them how to navigate preparing food for themselves. But I love anything that like teaches kids how to do actual life skills, like life skills.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, folks. I think we can get started. We're talking about running as a Republican when you're really, really not one. So this is part of a series that I'm doing on my Substack about managing political anxiety. And of course, so much of that is action focused because that's the easiest way to manage anxiety. But I wanted to talk specifically to you because you are in a very gerrymandered district where it should be hopeless. That's how they want you to feel. But you got super creative, not just in this race, but in the past to draw attention to this issue. So let's start with, who are you?
I'm Kate Barr. I am present day the Republican challenger in North Carolina's Congressional District 14 race, and our primary is March 3rd, so it is right around the corner.
Yep. And so before this, you were Kate Can't Win, right?
That's right.
And you were raising awareness around gerrymandering, right? Was that, if I'm remembering that right?
Yeah, it started as a campaign. I was running for state senate in 2024 in another gerrymandered district because, that's what North Carolina is these days. And I ran as Kate Barr Can't Win as a Democrat in the general because the outcome of the general election was decided by the map makers. And so I wanted people to feel as angry as I did and also bring, like, gerrymandering as a word, first is dumb and second sounds like a poli-sci thesis topic, but it actually touches, like the way our voting districts are drawn, touches our everyday lives in every possible way. Like, if you're mad about traffic, you can blame gerrymandering. If you're mad about your property taxes, you can blame gerrymandering. Like cost of living for sure, but even down to like your local municipal rules, you can't blame your HOA on gerrymandering. That is the first thing I've thought of that we cannot blame on gerrymandering, although maybe we could get there. Yeah, but so the campaign was to like really make people aware of what's going on with our voting maps, because in North Carolina, we have the ability to get fair maps if we follow a series of steps over the next, well, now just these next two elections. The first step was to elect Justice Allison Riggs. We did that and defended her win. Next step is to reelect Justice Anita Earls for our state Supreme Court in 26. And then in 2028, we've got to elect at least 2 out of 3 open seat liberal or Democratic justices. And then they will rule again in favor of fair maps, and we will get them, and North Carolina will be purple instead of false red.
False red.
False red.
So you went from kind of an awareness campaign, like, I can't win this district, I'm running anyway, to draw attention to the thing. But now you've changed to Kate Barr Can Win.
Yes.
So what gave you the idea to run as a Republican?
Like, what was the maximum amount of mischief I could make is really where this came from. After my state senate run, we launched a thing called the Can't Win Victory Fund to help candidates run in gerrymandered districts right now across the state, but hopefully across the country. We've had requests from a whole bunch of states to come work there. And that was going to be what I did. And I love that work. But it became clear as 2025 went on that while it was great to have a long-term plan, we also needed some way to take immediate action and disrupt these fucked up maps. And I don't know. I was just like, well, if the primary is the real election, if that's where the competition is, then why don't I just run in the primary?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I see the question of, isn't this obvious to Republican voters? And the answer is absolutely. On
Yeah.
purpose, it is obvious. Because I don't want to lie to people. Like, none of this is about misleading a voter into choosing me and then like switcherooing on them.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just about giving folks an actual choice. Because now voters who can vote in that primary actually get to pick who they want to represent them. It's not just a foregone conclusion.
So what's the process like? Like, do you have to, I don't know, go down to the GOP offices and be like, behold, I am a Republican now. Allow me to run. Like, what do you do?
Um, it is insanely easy. It took me 2 minutes on the NCDMV website. They have a little chat bot, and you just tell it that you want to update your voter registration, and it asks you how, and you tell it you want it to make you a Republican. Although no one watching this should do that. They should instead pick unaffiliated if they are trying to pull some of these shenanigans. And then they send you a new card in the mail. And you're good to go. As long as you do that 90 days before filing ends as a candidate, you get to file as whatever party affiliation you have on your voter registration.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So did you have to did you have to collect ballot signatures or anything? No, not in North Carolina. Yeah, okay.
No.
Probably different anything.
Yeah, only here, only unaffiliated candidates have to collect signatures.
Oh, that's kind of
Uh-huh.
messed up.
It's really
Okay.
messed up. There's a whole sort of messed up around unaffiliated candidates. That's an interesting rabbit hole.
So what has the response from the Republicans been? Let's start with your opponent. What is the response from your opponent been first?
So his name is Tim Moore, and he's the worst. He's like old school Republican gross. So he is like super corrupt, sits on the Financial Services Committee, and definitely engages in extremely obvious, blatant insider trading. Has made more than $13 million in stock trades this year. And they even have started one of those trade trackers like Nancy Pelosi has just for him.
Oh,
Yeah, that's how you know it's bad. If you're like up there with Nancy on stock trading, it's not good news for you.
no.
Um, and he's like sleeping with everybody. He got sued for a thing called alienation of affection, which we still have in North Carolina and is sort of strange, but it basically means stealing another man's wife. The the husband can sue. Um, and yeah, he's just like gross and willing to do anything to line his own pockets and doesn't really give a shit about anybody else. So now that I've spouted off about Tim, I can tell you that his reaction to me has not been positive,
No.
as you might expect if I'm running around calling him corrupt everywhere.
Right.
He likes to call me fraudulent,
Oh.
to which I say, yeah,
Right.
correct, sir.
Obviously.
Um, yeah,
But I've never been sued for stealing someone's wife. So
right. I've been married for 20 years, buddy, and my husband could claim a lot of things, but cheating is not one of them.
yeah. So have you noticed any changes in his, I mean, we talked about this a little bit before we started the live, but like, is he starting to have to maybe work for it in a way that he wasn't before? Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what happened, but something happened in early January, and he went from not trying at all to like knocking on doors and putting out yard signs and running ads, like little anti-Kate ads, which is hilarious to me.
That's so funny.
Um, and like mailers. It's just he's spending money, which is a huge part of the point of this. Um, and I like to think that he wakes up each morning and is like, what is Kate going to do to me today?
Yes.
Because that brings me joy.
Are y'all having a debate?
I wish.
Yeah. I would be surprised if he would agree to that, to be honest.
Yeah, I like honestly, from a strategy perspective, he really shouldn't
No.
debate me. Like he can only lose. But yeah, he won't.
I feel like he would feel like that was like legitimizing it in a way that he wants to kind of avoid.
Yeah. Uh, One of the things that has been most fun is that so he was Speaker of the North Carolina State House for 5 terms, so 10 years prior to all of this. Um, and I think he hasn't had to run a real campaign in quite some time. So he's
Mm.
not very good at it. And I did this like extended segment on a local news like channel, like 8 minutes, talking about how corrupt he was and how I was going to cut everybody's taxes. Like basically those two things. Oh, and how I was a fake Republican.
Mm.
And he reposted the entire clip to his Facebook audience and with all caps, y'all watch this.
Oh,
And
sweet.
like, I was just like, for free, Tim? I didn't even have to pay for that. Thank you.
Oh no, honey. So what's the response from the voters been then?
Mostly really positive. Like every time I go somewhere, people are out and saying thank you and they're excited. We're using this as a chance to experiment with some new voter outreach and volunteer engagement strategies going into November because like we're going to get data about it. Um, and so we've gotten, I think we're up to like 150 volunteers who
Wow.
are in the snow doing a ton of work. It's been really reassuring. I thought, well, I didn't know what to think. Either everyone was going to be pissed at me or no one was going to notice. Like those were sort of my two possibilities, and no one noticing was the better of those two outcomes. But so far, it's only like actually the far right that seems to be pissed at me, and then a little bit of the established Democrat that is kind of pissed at me.
That was going to be my second question. Have you gotten any pushback from the party? Our party.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Generally speaking, their stance has been, well, you're not a Democrat. So we obviously are not supporting you because our job is to elect Democrats. And it has been a real learning experience for me because I always viewed the Democratic Party as like the good guys.
Uh-huh.
And so their job was to elect the good guys, but that is not true. Their job is to elect Democrats. And that is what people donate money to them to do. Um, but they aren't actively working against me in most cases. There are a couple of folks that are like county party chairs in the district who are big mad about it because it matters to them that a Democrat would win this seat.
Mm.
Um, and like it's a party identity situation. Like it has revealed that it's not just about Democratic policies or progressive policies going to Congress. It is about someone with a D next to their name carrying those. And that part has been a little disappointing. That feels a little bit closed-minded because like a best case scenario here is that I win this primary and then it is me versus the Democrat on the ballot in November. And like we flipped a seat.
Yeah. Either
Like
way.
that's amazing.
Uh-huh.
Um, Or the Republicans spend a crap ton of money on a write-in campaign uh, that they can't spend in the competitive districts. Like it's just, yeah, I don't know. It feels short-sighted.
Yeah, and even if you won the primary, I feel I don't maybe this is me reading too much into his ability or desire to hold into the seat, but do you think Tim would do like a write-in campaign or
He
no?
can't.
Okay.
North Carolina has really strict sore loser laws. So if he loses the primary, he's out. Like
Wow.
nothing he can do. And oh my God, that would feel so good.
That would be amazing. How well, oh, so he didn't never mind. I was gonna ask how close the Democrat got to him in his last race. So that would have been 24, right?
Yep,
Okay,
not.
not close.
It was like a 22-point difference.
Yeah.
Even now, when Cook factors in results of like special elections and stuff into this district, it's still R+8
Mhm.
as a best case scenario.
Okay.
Um, and he has $1.8 million to
Oh,
spend.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so like gaming out best case, say you win, and then you win in the general, and you go to Congress, and Mike Johnson has to Mike Johnson has to, like, deal with you in his caucus? Like, have you thought about what that would look like? Or would you just
So,
immediately take off the coat and be like, "Just kidding, I'm calling Hakeem"? Like, what would you do?
so I think it would depend a lot on like how the House breaks down numbers wise. Like I am not going to allow a Republican Speaker of the House if the way that I caucus can make a difference in that. Like it just won't. Um, I really would study carefully where caucusing could cause the most good trouble. And until we see the outcome of all of these other races, it's really difficult to know what that would be. But if caucusing with the Republicans and having them not be able to put me on, like, I can't imagine they would put me on a committee, right?
Yeah. Right.
Um, but
Not
if
a
that
not like a useful one.
not a useful one for sure. But if I could be like put on a non-useful committee, but suddenly be the 10th vote to get some shit out of that committee and get it done, that would feel pretty good. On the other hand, like maybe I can be persuasive on the Democratic side for fair map legislation. Like it will be a total shit show and crapshoot and probably chaos for a little bit, but it will be entirely about what is best for the district and what prevents the current authoritarian regime from continuing this nonsense.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions here in the
Yes.
chat. So what are your actual policies? And I
Oh,
would love to know, piggybacking on that, how are you framing these to the Republican primary voters?
yeah. So I just talk about them as the things that I stand for,
Mhm.
and the things I would want to do. It's absolutely not at all like pretending to be a Republican. Like I will tell them I'm a fake Republican in the first sentence I say because I don't want to trick anybody. Um, Policy number one is federal fair map legislation. So that would be no partisan gerrymandering in congressional maps. Because when we can start to hold our leaders accountable, then we start to get a whole bunch of other opportunities after that. About 83% of the US House is from a non competitive district. Some of that is about gerrymandering, some is about geography, and we got to get the gerrymandering out of the way. So that, and then I really think that people need money in their pockets, period. There's a group called the Patriotic Millionaires. Um, and they are millionaires who started in 2010 when Obama didn't roll back Bush era tax cuts on wealthy folks, saying, like, tax us. No, you should tax us more because we benefit more. And they have a 3-bill plan that they call the money agenda. Not my favorite name, but whatever. And it basically starts with $20 minimum wage.
Hmm.
It includes no tax on a household's first $100,000 earned. So no matter who you are, like Lauren Sanchez Bezos gets her first $100,000 earned tax-free. But then once you start making more than $1 million a year, you pay really high taxes.
Mhm.
And then the last thing it does is it starts to count every dollar as equal, no matter where it came from as income. So a lot of us, like, you get your paycheck from your day job, and that's taxed differently from money you inherit, which is taxed differently from money that you get playing the stock market. And the way that those taxes are currently working, it favors people who are already wealthy. But if we make a dollar equal a dollar equal a dollar, then we start to shift wealth from that top, like the 18 billionaires or whatever, back towards the lower 90% of American households. So those are the two big ones, but it's really just about trying to like steer towards a fair America
Mhm.
where you're charged a fair price for things and you're taxed fairly and your maps are fair and you have a fair chance at achieving all the stuff that they told us we could achieve when we were like 9 years old and planning our college. Like, it's just trying to move in a better direction
Mhm.
for the majority of people.
Yeah, agree. I would like both of those things. Somebody said, oh, I missed one. Where did it go? What can't the Republicans just steal this idea and do the same thing?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't mind that, to be honest. I don't mind it.
I mean, as long as they're honest about it, then cool. I don't
Yeah.
actually think it's a bad thing for voters to have to like look past a letter and investigate the people they're voting for.
Yeah, I agree. I interviewed a candidate for who's primarying Don Bayer in the Virginia 8th today, who is a lovely Democrat. He's fine. He's just been sitting in that seat for 1,000 years, and it's a very uncompetitive blue district. And I asked him kind of the same thing, not this question about can't someone just come in and pretend to be a Republican, but like, how do you make these races competitive when they're solidly blue, districts? And he made very similar points to you, which is like, well, you get into the primary. That's the only competitive part of this race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we start voting people in and we're a little bit less like it must be this party or that party, then I think we might start to get somewhere.
Hmm. Yeah. Let's see. I feel like a popular vote without the electoral college would be best. Gerrymandering wouldn't be a thing. Okay, so those are two different things. The electoral college is for presidential elections, which doesn't impact gerrymandering, or gerrymandering doesn't impact the presidential election. So this would be about congressional elections. Um, are you the only other candidate in the primary?
I am.
And that's because he's like a muckety muck, right? Right.
Right. He's like good old boy, and the North Carolina GOP, they're not going to run anybody against him. Why would they? Yeah.
So if somebody lives, in a really gerrymandered red district, they feel politically trapped. Would your advice to them be to do something like what you're doing, or what would you say to somebody like that?
So I've now taken two somewhat disruptive roads.
Yeah.
And it's really just about like how much trouble you're trying to make and how much time and energy you have to give to troublemaking. Um, Running for office is always a good choice in my book. Like, I think a lot of people are intimidated by it, and there's a whole bunch of ego that gets tied up in winning, where it feels like, oh my gosh, if I don't win, then like that says something about me. And that's not true at all. Uh, I take sort of a like Buddhist approach to
Hmm.
campaigns, which is the process is what matters, and we just like keep working every day, and the outcome is outside of our control. It's like the whole point is that voters should have choice. And if they don't choose you, then oh well, like that's okay. But they had a choice, and that was the point. Um, so I would say either run can't win in your super red district. That one is a great way to run if you are worried about sacrificing social capital because you're going to run as a Democrat in a red place because you're running against a system, not a person exactly. And pretty much everybody hates gerrymandering.
Yeah.
It's an awesome opener. And you can boost votes for statewide elections. I was able to like flip Republicans to Democrats in 24. And it has an impact. So you can do that.
Hmm.
Or you can register as a Republican and primary your person. I will like that's just a read the room and decide what you're comfortable with. Like I am fine with Republicans being pissed off at me right now. Um I'm like, great, same. I'm also mad at you. So,
Who cares?
right? And
I see
shockingly,
what makes
most
you
of them
cheer.
are not mad. Most of them are just like, yeah, our elections should be competitive.
Hmm.
And from their perspective, they're just going to, if they really want Tim to win, they'll go vote for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, question. Are you getting out to black and brown voters? Because that's going to be big, and especially North Carolina.
Uh, so, first answer is yes. But second, my district is super white.
There you go. Wrong that
Because
way, I assume.
it's like, yeah, you can like follow the lines along like where Black people live, and they aren't in the district.
Yeah.
But I've been speaking to local NAACPs. I did the Gastonia NAACP candidate forum the other night, and that was really interesting. We have a wild Republican Senate candidate in North Carolina right now. And man, I don't even know where to start with her, but if you are looking to fall down a rabbit hole of Delulu, you can go check her out. She's the only woman on the Republican Senate ballot. But it was interesting to be in the same room as her and just like the racist shit she was spouting.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
They're too comfortable. I gotta tell you.
I mean, yes, yep. I'm not even like some of it was so bad that I wish I could get it out of my brain forever. Um, And then we're working a lot with local indivisible groups. The Democratic Party can't support this campaign because I'm a Republican. And then the Republican Party is not supporting the campaign because I'm a fake Republican. And so Indivisible has actually been core to us being able to like reach different parts of the district at scale.
Mhm.
And they're surprisingly diverse around here.
I can't get over it shouldn't surprise me, but I cannot get over, like, officials, like, county party chairs giving you grief for this.
It's I mean, me neither. Uh, I, like, randomly pulled tarot cards to try to help me understand because it feels just like that's the way that we should answer that question, right? And it told me to move on with my life. Like, that I was like, "Okay, tarot, I see you." Uh, I truly don't get it. I think there's some of it where I have not come up in North Carolina politics. Like, I was not in politics until I started this state senate run. Um, and so I think they don't like a lot of folks just don't know what to make of me. And I mean, I talked at length with members of the state party about this long before I did it. And it was just an idea. It wasn't like an I'm doing this thing. But nobody should have been surprised. It was like the absolute worst kept secret that I was considering this. Um, and I think they're just a little bit like, who the fuck is this lady?
Yeah, that scans. Oh, we've got to get, I think, especially this year leading up to the midterms, we've got to get a little bit more comfortable with doing very weird shit for
Yes.
democracy. Like,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of there's a lot on the line in this election. If we don't win in the midterms, things are going to get a lot harder. It's just downhill from there. Not like it hasn't been downhill already, but we got to get a lot more comfortable with like things that maybe don't feel aligned with our political identity and that, like, team
Yeah.
sports way that we look at politics sometimes. So
Because like a thing that we should talk about more when it comes to gerrymandering is it makes voter suppression easier and more cost effective because when you have fewer competitive districts, then you spend less money and still win more seats. And so to me, like the weird shit we've got to get into is like win those competitive seats for sure. But what are we going to do in these non competitive places that make them work, that help voters turn out, that like surprise them, that force them to like spread their resources more than they normally would want to or more than they're planning on? Because I don't think, there are all these people that are like, we're not going to have elections. Like, we're going to have
yeah, of
elections.
course we are, yeah.
Um, Everybody rest easy. But we are going to have a lot of voter suppression around
Mhm,
those elections.
100%.
And that's what we've got to work on.
So this I feel like this person is joking, but I think it's a legitimate thing. On the one hand, I wanna grab a Republican ballot for this primary for you. On the other hand, I don't wanna be like, if somebody looks at my voting record, I don't want it to show that I voted for a Republican.
I
That's
mean,
kinda valid, I think.
that's real.
Yeah.
It's so real. Uh, we all do what we have to do for democracy. Like,
Yeah.
I am still, my husband thinks it is absolutely hilarious to walk around the house and tell me what my party did today. Like, he just like digs it in at every turn. Um, and it feels weird,
Yeah.
but it only feels weird for a second. And there are plenty of people, especially in these red districts, who are registered as Republican and aren't really. They're just cosplaying so that they can like maintain their business relationships or
Mhm.
whatever. Um, and I don't know. If I told you that you could unseat a Republican congressman if you were willing to have Republican primary ballot on your voting record, would you do it?
Yeah, 100%.
I
I
would do
mean,
that so fast.
yeah, I don't know, like, reassure you, person commenting, I have done this before. Like, I've not run as a Republican, but I have voted in Republican primaries in Virginia. You don't have to have a party registration, but you do have to pick. You walk up to the poll worker and say, "I would like the Republican ballot," or "I would like the Democratic ballot." And if I don't have strong feelings about either of the Democrats in the primary, I'll take the Republican one so I can vote for the less crazy person.
Yeah.
Like, one time we had a state senate race where the Republican, who really, really wanted that seat she was in January 6th, and she was being primaried by, like, a normal Republican, so I voted for that normal Republican,
Yeah.
because, like, that was the choice, just to keep an insurrectionist off the general ballot. So I say go for it.
In my county, we had a lot of unaffiliated voters pull Republican ballots to vote for Nikki Haley in
Ooh,
24.
okay. God,
I know. I
what a
know.
what a race that would have been.
Oh,
All right. I think we are at time. So if you've got any other last minute questions, y'all feel free to drop them. Otherwise, where can people find you? Where can people donate, support? What do you need?
Love donating, supporting, volunteering at katebarrcanwin.com or at katebarrcanwin on all the socials except for Twitter because it's toxic.
No, it's awful. You're just arguing with Nazis and bots and Nazi
Yep.
bots. Um, and your race is when again? The primary is March.
The primary is March 3rd. Early voting starts on February 12th. So home stretch.
See, y'all, the midterms have already started. That's the thing that I've been saying when people say we're not having midterms. We already are right now, literally right now.
Yeah. Can you imagine sending a message to Congress? Like, let's be real, this is a long shot.
Yeah.
If I manage to win, how scared can we make all of those other Congress people about the fact that we will come find them, whatever is required, and unseat them if they aren't listening to us? It would make me so happy. I just want them to be terrified of voters at all times.
Even if you come within a margin that is nail biting, or even a little nerve wracking, especially after the Texas state Senate race from this weekend. I think it's the combination of all of these things that add up to a really frightened GOP, which is what you want.
Yes. And I see somebody asking about ICE, and I just have to say, abolish ICE, impeach Trump, and tax the rich. Like that, those three things feel just
You need
crucial.
just has those three things. Yeah, fuck us. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. This will go out in a few minutes after, if you want to send it out to anyone who who lives in North Carolina. All right, Kate, thanks for your time.
Thank you. Good to talk to you.
Bye.